Sisters in Song, can you take a minute to tell us who you are and where you're coming to us from?
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me. I am Amber Westerman, and I am based in Austin, Texas, originally from Marble Falls, Texas, just outside of Austin. But yeah.
Right. Well,
Cool.
welcome. We're excited to have you. Can you just we'll start at the beginning. Tell us how you got started in a career in music.
Yeah, it was never something that I actually expected to do with my life. Except for it was my dream as a little girl. I always wanted to be like Leanne Rimes. So
Oh,
it's been planted in my heart. But as I got older, I kind of took the more serious adult path and, was going to college and whatnot. And I found myself on a series of different journeys. But I picked up the guitar the first time my senior year of high school and just kind of fell in love with playing the instrument. And I would just sit in my room and play it for hours on end instead of doing homework. And graduated as like a B student because of it. And I loved playing it and playing covers. I didn't really start writing music till I was in my early 20s, I'd say. I found myself living in Hawaii, of all places, at the time.
oh
Yeah, and I was a farmer out there.
my gosh, how cool.
Yeah, and so whenever I was out there farming, I started jamming with some local musicians, and they kind of inspired me to start getting on stage and doing open mics, and then it just went on
Oh,
to doing gigs, and ever since then. Well, I went to a songwriting festival out there called the Hawaii Songwriting Festival, and that was my first introduction into the actual industry. And that festival, their goal is like to teach independent artists how to make money with their music. And I was like, oh, wow, you can actually do this. Okay, cool. So I moved off the island, moved to Nashville to officially pursue music. So I was like, if I really want to do something with this, I probably shouldn't be on an island in the middle of the ocean.
and then you
So,
ended back up in Austin. So what
yeah.
tell us the difference between the Nashville music scene and the Austin music scene, or maybe the similarities.
Yeah, they're both similar in that they're music hubs, but they have real differences. And I kind of was in an inward phase in my Nashville days. I was on more of a development journey there with my voice and my brand and everything and songwriting. But from what I experienced, Nashville is definitely more like industry, more professional base. There's a lot more like pop country out there, which isn't super my style. So I kind of didn't perform a ton whenever I was out there. But yeah, it's a really big hustle out there, and I didn't really personally vibe with that. I'm so grateful that I lived there and I loved going there because now I have my friends, my people that I go there for business things a couple times a year. But Austin, I find it's just Austin is a lot more supportive of the independent artist community. There's like so many opportunities that support independent artists in funding their careers and just supporting getting gigs and opportunities. And the community here, I feel like, is just so beautiful and supportive. There's so many events here that are more about like collaboration as opposed to like competition. I felt like there
Yeah.
was like a big competitive vibe in Nashville because everyone's there to make it.
Yeah.
And I really want to be successful in music in that I want to be doing something that I really love and, be sustainable financially with it. But fame isn't really like something that I really care for. If it happens, great, but I don't know. I'm not a hustle type of person.
No, very cool. That's a
Good
very interesting.
description.
Yeah, and very
Yes.
interesting because I've been to Austin, I've been to Nashville, and I was like, I wonder, yeah, what the differences are. So thank you for sharing that.
And you have those two huge festivals there too
Yeah.
every year. So have you been able to perform at either ACL or South by Southwest at all?
No, not yet. I'm still a bit of a smaller artist, but I have done both this year and last year. I did some unofficial
Yeah,
South by
Yeah,
showcases, which was really fun,
that
and had a
counts.
bunch
yeah,
of
does count.
it does, yeah. It felt good, really good to be a part of it. And but ACL, it's funny. I was born and raised around here, and I've actually never been to ACL because I just big, like huge crowds are not my thing. I mean, I'm happy to be on the stage side of it,
Yeah,
but
right.
not intermixed in it. So yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. That's
The same.
I could see how I mean, not necessarily intimidating, but just anxiety
Overwhelming.
you are.
Overwhelming. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's a lot of
Yes.
people.
Oh my gosh. So what do you think is the hardest part for an up and coming musician?
Mm. Well, I feel like the way that the industry has gone with the um everything being so available today for like uploading music, recording it, there's just a lot more going on with it. There's a lot more expectation that uh, I feel like the industry puts on artists to grow, which in return causes us to put like even more expectations on ourselves. And that has been, I feel like the biggest battle for me is listening to the advice, like taking in all the advice that I get in the industry, which I'm very grateful for, and seek out, but also trying to balance it out with my own intuition and staying grounded and balanced through it all because there's so much advice and there's so much advice that like tells you that it's like this one way thing. But I went to a songwriting retreat in Nashville whenever I lived there, hosted by Judy Stakey, and there was one thing she said that whole weekend that really has stuck with me, and it was she's Cheryl Crow's first manager who
Oh,
like
nice.
helped Cheryl Crow grow big, yeah. And the thing that she said was, if you have a particular dream in this industry, you can make it happen. Don't let anybody else tell you that you can't, because there's no one way to do this, because the industry is consistently evolving. So
Yeah.
keep your dream alive because you can make it happen.
That's
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because just as technology crazily
Oh God.
changes
Yeah.
over time,
Yeah.
I mean, the
100%.
industry goes along with it.
Yeah.
It has to change to meld into that. And with all the AI
Oh
and
gosh,
everything,
yeah.
it's been kind of a
Yeah.
crazy thing.
Yeah. So on the other side of that, what's your favorite part about
Yeah.
being a musician?
Oh, do we
Oh no, we
freeze?
froze.
My favorite, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
no. Are
there we go.
we good?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, it's better on mine.
And don't worry, I'm gonna edit all of
My
this.
favorite Okay, no worries. It's all good. My favorite part, I would say, is collaborating with other songwriters, musicians. There is nothing that like makes me feel more alive as to when I am with other creatives, just like making nothing out of thin air, or like making a song. Like I recently started a band backing my music, and just like the collaboration with making my song turn into this big masterpiece. It's so cool to with other musicians, and co-writing particularly is one of my favorites because I think that there's just something special in the room when you really vibe with somebody. It's a real way to really connect with other people and be very vulnerable. And if you vibe really well in a room, there's just so much magic that can happen. Because I can tend to get a lot of writer's block by myself. But when I'm with other people, they're like, oh, but what about this? And then that makes me think of something. Oh, but what about this? And then it like turns into this. So yeah,
Oh,
collaboration
wonderful.
100%.
So I
Okay.
wanted to ask about the newest single, Barefoot Days. We were vibing with it
Yeah.
because we grew up on a farm, and I hate wearing
Yeah.
shoes during any time my feet are hot. I gotta have no shoes on. So tell us how it came to be, and kind of give us a little story behind the song.
Yeah, I love that y'all grew up on a farm. What kind of farm?
Well, our parents raised
Yep.
German Shorthair Pointer dogs, but then they had cropland that somebody else farmed, and then CRP land. So
Okay, cool. Nice. So I Barefoot Days was inspired from my transition from Hawaii to Nashville. I was working on like a fruit and vegetable farm out there, and that was my full-time day job. And I was, yeah, out in the soil barefoot 40 plus hours a week, just me and the other farm workers and my headphones. And then whenever we moved to Nashville, I went to Belmont there for a semester to study in their songwriting degree program. And moving from the island to the like actually living in the city, it was just it felt like such a culture shock for me, and
Love
it was
that.
just so much noise, and I got so anxious, and it was very uncomfortable, and I kind of got into like this depressive state whenever I moved there. It's also like really cloudy and rainy for most of the year there. And I like my friends call me a sunflower because I need the sun. I'm a Texas girl at heart. And so yeah, the inspiration of that song originally was just from that transition and missing being in the sun all day and not in buildings and fluorescent lights, you know.
Yeah, you
Yes.
can't go barefoot in the city like you
No,
want to.
you
Yeah,
shouldn't.
it's kind of gross.
But you
I
should.
actually did I did a photo shoot for the Barefoot Days promotion. I haven't shared a ton of these photos yet, but I was actually downtown Austin doing like barefoot things, and I kept like taking my shoes off and putting them on because it's just so gross down there. But it was fun.
Oh, gross. Yes.
So what's next?
Yeah, so I actually am getting ready to release another single. I think it's about a month away now. Um, in May. Yeah, so I'm really excited. I haven't officially announced yet.
Oh, we froze again. Hold on.
Frozen. Are y'all there? Oh, there we go.
There she is. Okay.
Okay, brand new single, and you haven't announced it yet.
Yeah, I
Officially.
haven't announced it yet officially, but I'm sure I will by the time this releases. So I'm happy to share it. It's a single called Feel It All, and it's a little bit more of an emotional song for me based on just my my emotional journey and my healing journey from childhood to adulthood and processing all the traumas in my life of learning how to accept all of the emotions that come through and learning that there is like beauty on the other side of the pain every time I allow myself to feel the pain. And that's been a really powerful thing to learn in my own life. So that was, yeah, that's kind of what inspired this song. And I'm really excited to share it.
Very awesome.
Very excited to hear
Was
it.
that a collaboration or was that all you on your own?
It was a collaboration. Yeah, I wrote it with a couple friends out in Nashville.
Very cool.
Cool.
I love that there's so much collaborating going on. It's, we're here in Omaha, Nebraska, so there are musicians here. We actually have a music scene here, but it's not as much our style, I don't
Yeah,
think.
it's
And
more
so,
rock and band
Yeah,
type of, not
yeah.
like
So
singer-songwriter.
Oh, wow.
there's not a ton of collaboration that goes on around here. We collaborate together,
Yeah.
but there's not a lot of, other people out there. So we've joined a few online groups that we kind of, put stuff out on there, but we're mostly doing lyrics. So the music
Yeah.
part of it is a
Mystery.
mystery right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like I've noticed that in a lot of places that I've been to that aren't necessarily music hubs, is the music part is kind of more of a personal process for a lot of people. And I mean, I didn't really ever think of doing all of the collaboration and whatnot at the level that I do now until I really got into like the business side of things. So it kind of
Yeah.
makes sense that it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
huge out there.
Yep.
Thinking of the music part, do you play instruments?
I do, yeah. I play guitar. It wasn't my first instrument. My first instrument was piano, but I learned that as a young girl, the very basics, and I recently got back into lessons a couple years ago, to just kind of strengthen my chops with that because I'm not the best piano player, but I really love the instrument. And then I play the ukulele too, and I've been getting into banjo lately, which has been really fun.
fun. I
Yeah.
forgot that you said you played guitar, that you picked your guitar up and played during high school.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. I'm not
How
crazy good
difficult?
at it either, but because I'm self-taught, but it
Okay.
gets me by.
How difficult is the banjo? I've heard it's hard to play.
Well, I am primarily a finger picker on guitar,
okay.
so it translates well to banjo. I feel
Okay.
like the biggest difference is like the way you hold it is a little different, being that it has a round body. You can't like rest your hand on it like you can on guitar. So it's a little bit of new like muscle memory stuff for me. But it's and then the chords are different because it's in a different tuning than the guitar. So it's just learning the different chords, but it's not too challenging. I mean, I'm sure getting into like the really fast like bluegrass style picking and
Yeah,
stuff, I
yeah.
can't do that. That looks really challenging.
That's fun.
That would be
I
fun.
would be a fun instrument to learn, but I think I need to get the guitar down better before I move on
Or
to
switch
anything else.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask about your
I was
influences.
gonna ask the same thing.
Oh, well,
That's really
okay.
funny.
Who are
Right on my
influences
head.
and then that kind of led you into this career? I know you mentioned
Yeah.
Cheryl Crow, but maybe that was not an influence, just a mention.
Yeah, I like her music. I don't know if she was a huge influence on me, but in my early days of starting my career, I say like early, I mean it's only like 10 years ago, but in my early days of starting my career when I was living in Hawaii, my influences were more like Jason Mraz, Colby Calais, Ingrid Michaelson. I did a lot more like pop folk back then, and since moving to Tennessee and then to Texas, I've gotten a little bit more rootsy in my sound. And these days, I feel like some of my biggest inspirations are like Casey Musgraves and Sarah Jarosz. And I've been doing a lot of vocal training lately, and Brandy Carlisle has been, I'm not a huge like follower of her music, but her singing, she has such an incredible voice, and her voice is
Absolutely.
such an inspiration to me, and I
Yeah.
train myself listening to her.
Yeah, she's got a beautiful voice.
Absolutely.
All amazing influences.
Yes, I was going to ask you how your music has evolved since you started, but you sort of just said. So, so I want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about performance. Do you remember your first time performing and what that was like?
Yeah, I mean, well, my very first time performing actually was like an open mic in Wimberley out here. And that was terrifying. I don't even want to consider it as my first time performing. Well, no, I'm lying. My first time performing was actually in my senior year of high school. My friend and my best friend and I wrote our first song that was
Wow.
for our cheer banquet, and we performed it on stage at our cheer banquet, and it was a horrible song, but it was cute that we did it, and so that was fun. But yeah, it was terrifying, and but I really loved it. I really love performing. So
Good. So you've gotten rid of those jitters now.
I don't know if I've gotten rid of them per se, but I noticed that I have them more like the more intimate of the setting, the more jitters I have for some reason, and then like the bigger the setting, the the more calm I am, which is really strange. I think it's because there's like a little bit more of like a separation from the audience, and
Yep.
so I feel a little more in my own space, you know? But
That
I'm
makes
still
sense.
nervous before
Yeah.
every show.
Do you have a certain like ritual or how do you prepare to go on stage?
Well, I do vocal warm-ups before, usually like on my drive to wherever I go. I have a 15-minute vocal warm-up routine. I've had a lot of vocal challenges, and so I have to be very careful with my voice. And so it's mostly vocal warm-ups. Other than that, I mean, sometimes I'll like say a prayer or just take a couple deep breaths, just something to like calm my nerves because if I'm not shaky on stage right before, I definitely get a little shaky and I have to just like chill myself out.
Recentering.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Should we do rapid fire?
Let's do it.
All right. These,
Woo.
these are not hard. Do not get worried. Okay. Coffee or tea?
Oh, tea. Yes.
Vinyl, cassette, CD, or streaming?
Oh, streaming.
First album you ever bought?
Ooh, first album I ever bought. Probably Leanne Rimes' The Blue Album.
That's a good one. What
Yeah.
do you have a go-to karaoke song?
Oh man. It's funny, I've only done karaoke twice in my life, oddly enough. And then I think there's two, Jolene, by Dolly, and then oh my gosh, I can't think of the name. Cry sometimes when I'm crying in
Oh,
bed, or whatever.
what's going
What's
on?
up?
Yeah,
What's up?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What's up?
those
You're right.
two.
What's up? That's right.
Do you write your lyrics on paper, phone notes, or voice memos?
Say that again, you broke up a little bit.
Oh. Do you write your lyrics on paper, phone notes, or voice memos?
Phone notes and voice memos, depending on where I'm at or what I'm doing.
Sure. Oh, you skipped one. Right. Do you like to write at night or in the morning?
At night.
Okay. Do you have a pre-show pump-up song?
Pre-show pump-up song. My own songs. I'll listen to my own songs in the car to like help make sure I can sing them well. Barefoot days.
Dogs, cats, fish, birds, reptiles for pets.
Cats. I love kitties.
Okay, describe your sound in 3 words.
Ooh, soothing, whimsical, and rootsy.
Love it. What advice would you give to new musicians or songwriters?
What advice would I give? No matter where it takes you, always listen to your intuition before anything else.
Yeah, good advice. Absolutely.
Okay, it's time for your shameless plug. Where can we find your music, find your website, find your social media, all of the things?
Yeah,
Band, camp, anything like that.
Yeah, my website is amberwestermanmusic.com, and you can find me on just about any social platform. I'm not really on Twitter, but any platform, Amber Westerman or Amber Westerman Music, and streaming. You can stream my music anywhere, and yeah.
Okay. Well, it has been such a pleasure to meet you, to learn all about you, and we just wish you the best in everything, and especially with upcoming things. And we love the single. So thank you so much for sharing with us, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had a blast, and yeah, I really appreciate it.